And I believe a 1. And I believe we are live, but, you know, we got to double check it because I have a habit of saying that we're live.
All right, we'll give it we always got to give it that soft little padding of "Are we live?"
Are we actually live?
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. Are we live? Question mark.
Fucking, are we though? I don't know. Guys, let us know in the chat. Are we actually
We are live.
Nice.
Can confirm we are live. Hey, happy Loki Wednesday, everybody.
Yes.
It's an exciting day.
Yes. Very juicy day. I am still riding the high of the episode. I haven't talked to you about it at all. I saw you in a couple streams popping up. Let's just start there. Give me your raw take on the Loki.
I really loved it, and it was also something that I had to kind of go back and process. Like, I felt like my first watch didn't give it its full due. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
And I really had to go back and like think about everything I just saw, because it was a lot of talky, you know, a lot of things being thrown at you. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm like fully getting the multiverse implications of what they're throwing down here. But I really loved it. I think we all like screamed in unison when we finally saw Kang. We were like, it was like our vindication for the boner. We're like, and it's like the boner died. In that moment, the boner died.
Indeed.
Lay it to rest.
Lay that boner to rest.
You know, we finally got our due. We
I
finally
spit on
got
the grave of that boner. I'm gonna be honest.
Sweet speculation satisfied. And he was great. He was so great.
Yeah.
And I was like actually super curious to see how he would play that character, because like mustache twirling big bads are always kind of, you know, it's a fine line between being like Jared Leto, you know, where you're just like, all right, dude, easy, like we get it, you're very different and special, and like then just being like interesting or being too cheeky, like it's a hard thing to play, like menacing but interesting and also a god, like it's a lot. And I was at first, I'm not gonna lie, a little thrown off by his like loose kind of casual candor. And then I wouldn't say candor is probably the right word. I don't think he was being honest.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think I meant to say cadence. Candor is being honest. And I was I was like a little thrown off, and then the more I watch it, I was like, oh, this actually plays really well for this, because there is so much talky. Like, he's adding a dynamic element to this scene that I think it really needed. So actually, yes. Yes to this.
Couldn't agree more. I kind of was insta all in on it though, but that's just because, I mean, look, it is what it is. Like, when I saw Jonathan Majors, just in general, I felt such sweet vindication.
You're like, amazing.
I was like, best thing I've ever seen ever. This is incredible. It's the Citizen
just turned
Kane
into Chris Jenner.
of comic
You're like,
book.
you're doing amazing, sweetie. Like anything you do, honey.
I was just a proud papa. No, but in all seriousness, like, I did have that feeling of like, yes, but also, he cut it up, man. Like, he legitimately cut it up. And I love the outfit. And you're right. Like, those scenes could have been so different had he not been the way that he is. It's a big dialogue sequence. You know, exposition, some kind of explanations with effects and stuff like that. But ultimately, just sit there and listen to my evil plan. And he brings just such gravitas to that. There were so many little things he said. I loved when he said, "We're all villains here." I was like, yo, that was sick. And I still don't think that he's actually being completely or fully honest. You know, I still felt like maybe he was like playing with him. But that was pretty crazy. What did you make of the ending? The
ending felt like was so abrupt. Like, I was so into it, and maybe because so much of the episode was like the talky that I was just like kind of shocked when it ended. I was like, what? That's it? And then I was like a little mad at first, because I did want some more resolutions, and then I had to sit there and be like, this is a TV show. This is literally what they do. Like, every end of season finale is a cliffhanger where they dangle a bunch of stuff in front of you to get you to come back for the next season. So I was like, get over yourself. It's a TV show. It's a season finale. Like, come on, bro. I literally just experienced it. I just watched Sweet Tooth, which I thought was like adorable. And they did the same thing. Like, what happens next? I'm like, that's the point. But no, I felt like I was very, very confused, very, very taken aback. And don't really know what to make with the information, because it's like, you know, you have Renslayer, right? Like, is she I still can't tell, dude. I can't tell if that girl has like Stockholm syndrome and she
Yeah.
doesn't know what she's talking about, or she actually knows more than she's like letting on. And so that's why she's like so gung ho about saving the TVA. Then she's like a principal, and then then he's in
Right. What's
another
up with that?
timeline.
What's up with her being the principal? Like, I get that that was like cool and a callback to the. Is that just why? Like, she's just principals are just in love order, and so she just thinks that there has to be a reason, because it is weird how just into
Yeah.
it she is, even without knowing who's behind it all. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
like, she is so that last episode, she was like so passionate about preserving the timeline. I'm like, I thought this bitch found out that like everything she knew was a lie. So either she
Right.
knows more than she's letting on, or she is like straight up delusional. But like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And maybe she's brainwashed to the point where she doesn't even know what she's doing, she's just kind of like a robot, like following commands. Who knows? But yeah, I felt like that was really weird, and I'm definitely excited to get more explanation on that. So sad when
Yeah.
Mobius didn't recognize poor Loki, and I was like,
I
holy
know,
shit.
right? That was pretty. I didn't see that coming. I thought for sure they were just gonna chat it up about what was going on, and then for him to say that, and then they turn over, and then there's the freaking Kang statue in the place of the timekeepers. I was like, dude, kudos to the show. Kudos to the show for surprising me. You know what I mean? I saw a lot of it coming, but that I did not.
Well, I feel like that kind of gets into bam, bam, psh, the title sequence.
Yeah.
Because when Mobius title sequence meaning of this video, I'm talking about
Yes.
our own branding.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
Into the Spider-Man of it all.
Yes.
I felt like when he went up to Mobius and was like, Mobius was like, "Who are you?" I was like, "Oh shit. Oh shit." Like if the TVA is branching off into multiple timelines, like shit is over. Like it's
Yeah.
over. There are it's so cracked and so fragmented. It is now, we are in chaos crazy town. Like
Yeah.
anything is possible. All gloves are off. Like it's I'm a little scared because
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
really they kind of established this rule of anything is possible with really no parameters.
Right. Yeah, and I mean the TVA was sort of an anchor of
Yeah.
like at least you couldn't change that, or it seemed to be some kind of constant,
Exactly.
right? And then yanking that away and having a different version of that, it's kind of like an all bets are off sort of thing. Do you think this was something that a couple of different people have brought up now, just in different streams and vids, that sort of the beginning sequence where you're going in and out of those universes, and Kang talking about the universes stacked on top of each other, could it be that there are separate TVAs for each universe, and the timelines of all of these different universes are different and separate, that being different than the branching of a timeline from a already established universe? Did that make any sense at all?
I'm just laughing because it's like even going into it, I'm like,
Yeah.
ouch. Like
Yeah.
my brain.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do get it. And I feel like this is gonna be the annoying but fun thing about all this multiversal shit is like yes and no,
Sure,
maybe.
sure.
Because it's like at the same time, if all of these TVAs have different access to all the timelines, wouldn't that be just the Wild West of people like grabbing things from different timelines? Because from what it seemed like with the TVA being able to grab so many Lokis is they have access to all the timelines.
Right.
So if all of those TVAs had access to all the timelines, then how many TVAs are in everybody's timeline? So it's just like
Right. Well, what if? But go with me on this, okay? So
Okay, I'm with
he
you.
leaves.
I'll try to hold on.
Yeah, check this out. He leaves the universe. Okay, so two separate things are happening. Universes that are created from the Big Bang. So let's call them organic universes, for lack of a better term. Organic universes that are being created stacked on top of each other. Then, within the timeline of those universes, different events create variant universes of the organic universes. So you got your organic universes, then you got your variants that split off of universes. And so, on this level here, where you've got the universe and the branches, that's the one that Loki gets sent from to perhaps one at a lower level that only has one, that doesn't actually have all of the branch timelines. Does that make sense at all? Are you with me? different.
That actually did make sense when you put it in like shapes. Just like
Yes.
I'm a child and I need blocks, you know, I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
be like, and
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like honestly, that did make sense.
Nice.
Yes, that does make sense. But then that also is a rule that I kind of just hope they establish because as we go into this multiversal stuff, like if they don't establish some kind of parameters or rules like that, it's just going to be too crazy.
Right.
Like if there are infinite timelines in like multiple stacks, like, bro.
Yeah. That's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bro.
It's
So
yeah.
like that's kind of what I'm looking for, and like I'm sure we're gonna get like, and like we kind of speculated about this before the finale when we're like, I really don't think it's gonna be like a fight with Kang. I really do think it's just gonna be like an intro where they meet him and they kind of get started on this journey because like the actual like magnanimity of it all is just beyond comprehension, and to get to that in like one season of a show is like insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think along the whole phase 4 and all that stuff, we're going to start establishing rules for this in every movie because like if we don't do that, then it's like I think it has the ability to take away the value and the weight of certain things happening within those universes. And if you do that, then you do become Rick and Morty town, right? Where
Exactly,
it's like things really don't hold any weight, and that's a story and a plot device for them that works really well for them. But if they did that in the MCU, I do not think that would work.
Right. Yeah. It's just like for me, I'm like that it would be one explanation of it as to like how could you have a separate TVA? And again, like I'm kind of thinking that Kang bails, right? So I mean, it's sort of in the explanation. Like you have it, and almost visually represented at the beginning of the episode as well. I kind of feel like they're trying to establish that like you have these organic from Big Bang created universes, which of course would be its own multiverse, which is likely the thing that Doctor Strange and the Ancient One is referring to is the idea of that, right? But what Kang is talking about, and now that it's going to be the multiverse of madness, not the organic one that just exists out there, is the idea of all of these branch variant timelines happening all over the place and all these variant Kangs from all these organic timelines just creating pure and utter chaos, right? So it's almost like another layer to all of the multiverse stuff, which would it is very Rick and Morty because it's like holy crap, and then it has all these implications, and it can take some of the weight out of it for some of these characters for sure, but it also opens up all sorts of possibilities, and I think like that we can sort of take it now into the Spider-Man of it all. A lot of fans are thinking that this explanation, the timelines all going crazy and going past their red lines, that means now that everything Marvel is now canon. So they're saying like this is not only going to be the explanation for Tobey and Andrew coming in, which we'll of course talk about, but this means Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is somewhere in there, right? Like Daredevil, rather, and all of the Netflix shows, they're somewhere in there. And the version of Matt we meet in She-Hulk and in Spider-Man Far From Home, Charlie Cox, that's a variant, obviously. Like it's a variant of the one you met in the Netflix, which is somewhere in the multiverse. I mean, what do you make of all that? Do you agree that's kind of what's being set up?
I do agree that's what's being set up, but I feel like there is going to be a little more care taken with it to establish like Earth 616 because I just don't think normie audiences are ready to like accept that their Spider-Man is not the real Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? Where they're just like, yeah, it's Tom Holland, but it's not like the real Spider-Man. This is the real Spider-Man, or was the real Spider-Man? Your Spider-Man's dead. And they're like, hey, well, which Spider-Man do I root for? Like, I just truly think like normie audiences will feel a little detached when it comes to like who they should root for. And obviously a way to solve this is like what they did with the Loki show, which I thought was really smart, is like through these timelines following one, you know, establishing one character. Where it starts getting into Rick and Morty land is if that Loki we've been following dies and they just replace him with another Loki and we keep going, and then they replace him with another Loki and we keep going. But if we do follow one all the way through, I think it'll still be able to like have that, you know, root for your character kind of thing without with being able to play with all that multiversal stuff. But I'm not quite sure how they're going to do it yet, because I do think it's going to be hard also to like pick allegiances when you get like Tobey and Andrew in it, because then it's like, wait, that's my Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Wait, which one's my Spider-Man?
I
Like,
mean,
because
Spider-Man fans are kind of the
tentacle.
worst. I mean, look, I hate to say it
Yeah.
because, like, I'm a Spider-Man fan, but like, I've seen like the Spider-Man clicky fans on Twitter. They already do
Mhm.
all that. They already crap all over each other's Spider-Man, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big old trash fire with all that on social media. But for most normies, I think they just love Spider-Man, and they certainly like one of the versions better than the other. But I think it'll be super hype for people. I'm wondering if the variant thing, sort of to your point, does that mean like I guess is there a prime version though? Because if you think
That's what I
about it,
mean. Like, is one gonna take precedent over the other
well,
that, like, the story cares for, I
well,
guess?
only because Tom, it's really gonna be his story, right? At
Yeah,
least as far as we
yeah,
know. I think it'll heavily talk about the other two and what's going on with them as well, but it really will be Tom's story. So Tom and 616, I think you're right. There will be some kind of energy to make sure as though that is the main one. Basically, he is the one from the sacred timeline, even though there's no sacred timeline, something like that, maybe.
yeah, yeah. Or just, like, the timeline that we're deciding to take place in. Like,
Sure.
that we are deciding is our story, our universe, all these other variants can visit, but this is, like, our Spider-Man and our Earth and our universe, and, like, we can play around in those ones, but as long as we always come back to, like, what's real.
Sure. Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, or maybe, I don't know, the general audiences will prove me wrong and they're gonna just strap in and go for this wild ride. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm just basing it off of what I've seen and known from when it comes to, like, yeah, like Spider-Man fans, like you said, fighting over like who this Spider-Man's better than this and this one. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know if they'll be able to handle three Spider-Mans of the same value in the same story.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, but again, I think the Loki does a great job of sort of and
Yeah,
not just in the last episode with the breaking and oh wow, this is how it's going to happen, but I think even
yeah,
before that with all the other Lokis, he's hanging out with other Lokis, and that was
yeah.
fun, and we got it, and the humor and how they know each other. Richard E. Grant talking about how they're all
Yeah,
broken
but
and
he
shit.
was
You know
the
what I
prime
mean?
Loki. There was like no doubt that he was the prime Loki, though,
Who?
and we
Richard E.
cared.
Grant
Not
or Tom Hiddleston?
Boom Shakalaka.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about
Tom
Alligator?
Hiddleston. Yeah, yeah. Gator
Gator
Loki. What is
Loki.
he? Yeah, is there a throg? Is there some kind of word smosh for alligator Loki? And it's
Yeah, I got nothing.
girl Loki.
Hmm.
Get Loki. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right now. There, while I loved especially what those characters did for the story and like the character dynamics that they presented, there was no doubt in my mind that we are always trying to return back to Tom Hiddleston's
Sure. Yeah, I agree
journey.
with that. Yeah, he anchors it. But he's
Yeah,
not even I would argue he's not the prime Loki, though. The prime Loki's dead. He's the one that dies in Endgame. This is a variant,
I.
right?
That's a good point.
So weird,
Who are we
right?
going to establish as primes going forward?
I don't
Josh,
know. I mean,
the
this is why it's.
multiversal
I know the
implications.
multiversal implications are bananas, and I hope that and think about it. There's already precedents for other versions of characters now being. I mean, we're chasing a new Gamora. There's a new Nebula. You know what I mean? So like they've been kind of on this
You're
train.
totally
They've been on this
right. I
track.
take it
So
all back.
they're kind of
Shit.
showing us, maybe the
I take
way.
back like half the things I said because you're right.
Damn. Well,
They've already like done this. They already took it.
they took it to the next level. But no, I mean, they've never done it with a freaking star using other prior established versions of a character, right? Like, so they've always played within their own stuff.
Yeah.
Now breaking it open to bring in potentially even Fox X-Men stuff and do all that kind of stuff.
I swear to God, if they bring in the Fox X-Men story, I'm gonna lose my shit. If they make Wolverine boo-hoo cry over Jean Grey one more time, I will cancel the MCU.
Cancel the MCU. But wouldn't it be fun to
Yeah.
kind of have it just hanging out for a little bit, but it's the variants and you're
I
like,
mean,
oh,
I would
it's
like
not the
to
MCU.
see them,
Yeah.
but if they make me sit through that drawn-out storyline one more time, I will lose it. I will lose it, God. When I saw that Jean Grey storyline in Wolverine Origins when he was in Japan, I just about flipped the table. I was like, let it go.
Right.
He's in Japan now. Let it go.
Isn't he literally like laying next to another lady too? And he's just
Yeah, and they're like,
and he's just like,
Should we
no,
bring in?
it's gotta be Jean.
Jean Grey
Cyclops' girl.
flashback. Like,
She's the one that got away. Yeah.
It's like, we're gonna do this every movie. Like, can we just have one movie without this?
Yeah, it's like Finn with Rey. It's kind of a little weird.
Just pining, like the really sad, like incel level pining, where you're like, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
She was married.
It's yeah. But, no, but I like, obviously I like Hugh as Wolverine. So
I would like them to visit. I just hope that they don't try to canonically like fit those stories in. That would bug me.
But that's the thing. I think the whole play is to say that they and their universes existed, and that they were just a part of the variant broken off timelines now, or perhaps different parallel universes. There's a couple of different ways that they could explain it. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like the plan is now functioning, right? Like we're now back like on track with the way things are going. And I strongly feel that like it's headed towards crazy variant stuff. Secret Wars, I think, is definitely on the table. Let me ask you this. Do you think Kang is going to be the Thanos of this phase? Or do you think he's just one of many other big villains that are now going to be established?
It's hard to say, because like when you said Secret Wars, that kind of did make me think about the fact that I'm like, damn, when they start like shape shifting on top of variants, like Jesus Christ.
That's a whole bucket of worms as well. Like just all the other stuff on top of multiverse, because if you think about it, they're setting up Secret Invasion, they're setting up a bunch of stuff that's like, it's already going to be bananas. You know what I mean? Moon Knight's already going to be bananas. Blade's already going to be bananas. Wakanda Forever's already going to be bananas. Are we going to get Namor, Doctor Doom, and variants? Crazy people popping out of portals in Wakanda Forever? I don't know. The whole thing is changing now, you know?
I like that you said bucket of worms, and I always say bag of cats. Like, what disgusting descriptions we like to use. But anyways, for the big villain, it's so hard to say, because it's like, I want so much, but there's only so little time. And do I want them to do it all, and then I only get a little bit? Or do I want the entire thing to be dedicated to this one guy or this one thing? In my dreams of dreams, it's all together. Like it's all like all of it's playing into everything else. And it's just like, I feel like there is a way to do that, because like Doctor Doom does like to kind of profit and scheme off of what's already happening. It's like he's just like, fucking if shit's going down, you can bet like Doctor Doom is like twirling his steel mustache in the back, being like, and I think I would profit from this by manipulating this government to make sure that I get the thing. Yeah. So they could ideally like have him there like in the background, kind of like, pushing the pieces across the board, like making certain things happen, even though it doesn't end in him being the big bad. It's just him like kind of lingering in the background. But Kang, I mean, I want to say Kang is going to be the big bad, because like when it comes to just like, I don't know, time itself, it seems like the biggest of bads.
Yeah, and the TVA seemed ridiculously powerful. So I mean, like they had literally all the Infinity Stones in drawers. So yeah. So, but I'm sort of torn on it. Quantumania. Actually, within the next couple of movies, I think we'll have a better idea of like what their ideal plan is with this. But I almost get the idea that they want to establish Kang as a damn near Thanos level threat, but really just have him kind of isolated to that movie, and then without killing him, remove him and bring him back later. Because one of the biggest downfalls of Marvel over the Infinity Saga was they did have some good villains. They had a lot of misses, but they had some good villains, and they just killed them. It was crazy. So like to stop doing that, and like let's get to the point where maybe on the Secret Wars, on the Battle World, you have all of these villains. You know what I mean? And you can have a cabal type thing going on or something like that, and really like forge ahead with that, because Kang is ridiculous, and it seems like he's literally allowing Thanos to do shit. You know what I mean? Like if the TVA was truly controlling everything, he was just allowing all of that stuff to happen, which is like ridiculous to think about, right? But that's just one version of him. That was Immortus. He had gone to that level. What's going on with the other Kang the Conqueror version, and what's going to happen in Quantumania? I wouldn't be surprised if they make it super ridiculous, crazy, but more or less isolate it to one film until they use him again. Do you know what I mean? Which would be a better model, in my opinion.
I love that. I think that is a fantastic idea. Kevin Feige, I know you watched Donut Nerd, so please take notes.
Yeah, bro.
Because that is a fantastic point. Because I mean, I think I even have a YouTube video called MCU's Problem with Villains. I made it so long ago. I don't even remember. But they have a villain problem. They do. And you're right. It's because they do build up these big bads and then they just kill them off like they were nothing. And that's the thing. It's like they don't need to die at the end of every battle. Like they can just do their thing and then maybe decide that it's not worth it and go do something else, you know? Like these villains, a lot of them are long-standing and they have many plans, many machinations, a lot of stuff going on. So it could just be that, you know, in Quantumania, like, so it just so happened that they cross paths with him and they get to meet him, but he's like, I'm not into this. Like, this is not what I'm focused on right now. So hi, hello, I'm gonna cause a lot of problems for you, but you're not gonna see me for a while because I got
exactly. Yeah.
And then we can focus on a really interesting villain and like Secret Invasion and Secret Wars and like really like flesh that out. And then go back to him as someone we have had for a while. And then you can do the same thing with Doctor Doom because he is at the end of the day, like a politician and he is going to like meet people and interact with people. That is my dream of like seeing these people, getting to know them. But spending the time with the villains to really build it out and not just discarding them at the end because it does feel kind of trivial and a little like trite to just be like, oh, this big bad end of the world villain, you know, but we got him this time. It's like, or, you know, this big bad villain that you won this battle, but you didn't win the war.
Yeah,
and
you got to put the toys back on the shelf. It's a classic thing, right? Like some of the most fun parts of comics are like, oh shit, Kingpin meeting with Norman Osborn. Whoa, this can't be good. You know what I mean? Or, you know, like the Cabal itself. Like I recall when Norman created that group and at first Doom was there and then he was basically like, y'all a bunch of bitches. I only need Doom. And then he's like bails on them and shit. And there's constantly like villain team ups are just as cool and fun as hero team ups. And, you know, they've wasted a lot of great villains. Like, dude, they killed 2 incredible villains in Black Panther. Like, dude, Claw was insanely good. I love Killmonger. They were both incredible. 2 of them bodied in Black Panther.
It's such a Disney move too, to like see the villain like fall off a ledge in like a billowy cape, you know, like where they just like at the end they're like, oh, and they die like a, you know, bloodless death at the end bottom of some tower.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like you don't need it, bro. Like, yeah, you're so right. I love villain team ups. Like I'm one of those people who likes the villains and like watch and those kind of side quests and side stories where you get to see them hang out and interact with each other because they're usually really big characters with really specific personalities. And when they get together, it's just so much fun. And they really have missed out on that. And it's like, because it is something hard to do when you only spend like a movie or a short amount of time with the villain. But if you let these villains just like kick it for like a while, then you really have some fun stuff that you can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
such a good point. Josh, you're so smart.
Well, I just
love it.
Really nerdy, you know. Everybody's got gifts, and mine's just being big old nerds. So I like talking about all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm pumped for him being in Doctor Strange 2 as well. That's pretty interesting. Do you have any thoughts on that? Yeah. Like that movie is. So it's it's much further out than Spider-Man. We don't know what the big things are in there. There's been some rumors, but all we know is it's going to be bananas. And that Michael Waldron's writing it, the dude that wrote Loki. What do you think? Like Loki's going to be in there according to THR. What do you think that could be about?
Well, I think that with the Spider-Man Far From Home and the Multiverse of Madness, like what we're getting into and what the season finale of Loki got into that I was like super impressed about. And I think I saw this on Heavy Spoilers when they were talking about that quote from the chick who plays Loki, where she was talking about that discussion was getting into free will and if you can escape your destiny. Sure. And like that whole topic of free will is very on trend as like a conceptual discussion. I mean, like, you know, people like Sam Harris and like Alan Moore are like super into that.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a
yeah, they
real
even play a
hot
lot.
thing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they play a lot into it in Rick and Morty as well. Like, what it like is free will truly an illusion? And I think that it's like a very, you know, in the zeitgeist topic, and it's a touchy one because it's like almost like, you know, like religion, where it's just out of grasp, where it's like there are so many things that you can logically say about something, and other ways that you really just have to like let go to faith and be like, but maybe, but who really knows? There's
Sure.
really no way to tell.
Yeah.
And the free will discussion, it's an interesting one because it goes against everything that we naturally believe and that we have naturally accepted, like in this like Judeo-Christian society, you know, of like how we believe in like linear time and our
Sure.
moral and our values and like everything that like holds us up together as a society. To say that there's no like free will is a really, really difficult like notion to swallow.
It is.
And so to build kind of like a universe and a story that really, really challenges that, I think is going to be so awesome and so interesting and a lot of fun, because there is a lot of times where you can really just like throw it on the table and be like, but you'll never know.
Right.
So
No, I mean, I think
there's
it's bold for sure. The thing I also
yeah.
like just the fact that it's also really unique to Loki, right? Because he
Mm,
has the line in Avengers 1, and he's talking about how like basically he's very dictatorial, right? And he's just like, we need to
mm.
stamp out everybody's free will. They'd be better
Oh,
if I
freedom is an
ruled them.
illusion.
Yeah, freedom is an
Yeah.
illusion. They long for servitude, you know, all this
Yeah.
stuff, right? And that is kind of where he arrives still, you know, looking
Yeah.
at the, you know, the thing with Kang or whatever, and she's just so over it. But it is interesting that like he ultimately arrives at a place that we technically very clearly saw as a flaw in that other film. Now we're not so sure, which again just puts that weird weight on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So super, super fun. Now, do you think that's gonna be something in like Doctor Strange that like he's gonna basically come in and lay that at the feet of Strange and say like, "Hey, bro, like." This is way bigger than what you're thinking, and this thing is actually going on. Like, is he gonna somehow enlighten Strange to what's going on with the multiverse and Kang and all that?
I do, and I don't think Doctor Strange is going to easily pick the free will side or like just like the Sylvie side.
Sure.
Because I think Doctor Strange is the kind of person that likes to look at things bigger picture
Yeah.
and also like to kind of throw up his hands where like things are too big and too messy to handle. Because of course, you can always make the argument for freedom and its values. And while you're so right, how like Loki arrives at the same place, but it leaves a totally different emotional, you know, taste in your mouth where I was just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like I think I'm a little more on Team Loki in this
In this
matter because
moment,
it's
yeah.
just like you don't know what you're messing with.
For
Like, and
sure,
that might
dude.
be naive to say, but like it's also really naive and really arrogant to just, you know, be like, well, this is what I think is right, so I'm doing it. But at the same time, that's like Captain America's whole Steve. So it's just so
Right.
complicated.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult for where to land. And I think if he presented that information to Doctor Strange, that would be a really interesting person to see receive that information, because I do think Doctor Strange will pick the moral high ground in some cases. But I
Yeah.
also think he's a sorcerer supreme, dude. He sees shit a lot
Yeah.
that like people don't see, and he like lets it go.
Well, you know, I'm reminded of, and this is why I really hope we get to the lead up to Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars and something like that
Mhm.
that was consequential, because it was fascinating in that story because the Avengers became aware, and really it was the Illuminati, they became aware that this thing was happening in the multiverse where two universes were converging, and they were converging on Earths. So basically, both these Earths would start to head towards each other. And if you blew
Right.
up one of the Earths before they converged, both universes would be saved and just one of the Earths would be destroyed. But if you didn't, both universes would be destroyed. So they have to make the lesser of two evils decision, and that is to destroy other Earths that have a bunch of variants, by the way, on them, and a bunch of variant versions
Yeah.
of them in some cases and different things like that. And it was fascinating because some of them were cool with it. Some of them were not. And like for instance, I remember Steve at first has this thing where he's trying to get them all to not cross the line and go crazy and kill other Earths. There has to be another way, classic Steve. And
Yeah.
he's like, T'Challa, you're with me, right? And T'Challa's like, bitch, no. And then Doc Strange is basically like, sorry, Steve, you're such a friggin' stupid idiot. And then they literally send him away in some dimensional shit, and they make
Yeah.
him forget about it. He remembers later and gets really pissed off. And then like there's the moment where they can't blow up this other Earth, and the one that does it was like Namor. And it's so crazy because he's the worst one among them, and he's like just kind of this super big asshole, but he also like legitimately saves them all because he walks forward and he's like, yo, a bunch of pussies, and grabs the bomb and blows up the other Earth. And you're just like,
Yeah, and
holy shit.
he's like, I'll do it. I don't give a fuck. I'm
Yeah.
Namor. Look at these eyebrows.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It is
Weird.
fun. So that kind of stuff, like pushing that would be fun.
I need to go and read that. I don't think I'm like trying to think if I've read that one, but I might have read like the original one. I can't remember.
Dude, there's this
If I've read
moment
the
where
comic.
they fight the Squadron Supreme from another planet, where the Squadron Supreme is the main hero. So it's almost like they're fighting the DC heroes. And
Mhm.
Doc Strange performs this crazy spell where I think he summons in like Shumagorath or something, and he literally kills the Justice League. He kills them all himself, and he's going so crazy that they have to stop him. Like he's like, yeah, fuck it, I guess we gotta destroy these motherfuckers. And he performs this like spell that's like forbidden and shit.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like I really liked it.
That sounds amazing, honestly, and I'm probably gonna read that tonight. But like I do think it's gonna be really interesting when we do get to the multiverse of madness, because when we do get Kang meeting Doctor Strange, right? And they do get to have those conversations. I think it's also going to bring in a lot of like interesting, maybe like Eastern elements, like a little bit of like Taoism, because Taoism is very much a lot of like, it's letting things go, accepting them as they are, that kind of stuff. And from Doctor Strange, he has like those things that he brings in. So I don't know, I'm like so curious, I'm so excited. Like I really do think it's going to be a wild ride when they start, because at the same time Doctor Strange is still a man. Like he's just a man, and if it comes down to doing something for personal reasons, like he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So like he can accept things for like what they are because he sees a lot of shit, but if he wants to do something for him, he'll do it. So I'm like so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I also just think, and I kind of said this before, but I think it's just so fun, the idea of Loki having more knowledge than Strange potentially, and showing up, remembering him, being like, this is the Sorcerer Supreme, and like the cockiness of Loki being like, I know more than you, I've met so many, or something fun like that with those two.
They haven't met.
Well, he hasn't yet met.
That Loki hasn't met him.
Has he not?
No, because Loki meets him
in Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Which was
after.
Yeah, so you're right. He didn't meet him. Oh shit! Well, that's
although Strange is he's a weirdo. I'm sure he'll be like, I know you're not the Loki I know.
I know, right? Like, yeah, I would hope for something pretty bizarro like that and fun like that. With Wanda being sort of at the center of this whole thing as well. You got Wanda, you've got Loki, you've got Strange, the Sorcerers, man, going hard.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see some weird ass magic. And so I'm just like so stoked it's Sam Raimi and Michael Waldron. Like I think it's gonna make for such an interesting project. And like one of the things that I do love is kind of like that. It seems like Marvel kind of keeps it open for creative agency and differences. And who is the guy who was originally writing for it?
Scott Derrickson for Doc Strange.
Yeah, and then I'm like, but at the same time, it's like they're willing to let people do things, but Kevin Feige, at the end of the day, is like, this is like a vision, and that we have something we want to do, and if that person doesn't want to play games, it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough because like it's Feige's way or the highway, right? Like it just legitimately is. Like he's got so much power over there, but he's quite frankly earned it. And if I was Disney, I would be like, yeah, of course. Like, don't change any of that because look at the
Yeah.
$23 billion, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
I
only
can.
done amazing things.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I can totally understand the creatively being upset with that. And maybe Scott made the right decision. It seems like this is going to be dope. Like, Raimi coming back. It's almost like the perfect
I
project for
ultimately
him, you know?
Yeah, I ultimately think that's what I'm trying to say, is it, like, played out the way it should have.
Yeah.
Now that we have Michael Waldron and Sam Raimi, like, together making this, like, crazy wild, because, like they said, what did they say? Like, how, like, their original plan that they've totally changed. Like,
Oh, yeah. It was a
from what
script one.
people wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, because essentially Derrickson and the other dude did not even actually write a script. They came with ideas. Basically, they wanted
Yeah.
to do Nightmare. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
And Feige was like, actually, you're gonna do the multiverse movie that sets up all
Yeah.
this stuff. And I'm sure Scott was like, fucking what? And yeah, and so that's kind of how that shit went. But I also
No,
heard some interesting quotes today about how I think Lizzie Olsen was saying they tried to make the scariest MCU movie with that film. So it could be very scary. Schuma's kind of a scary dude, so if it's
the
Multiverse of
Multiverse of
Madness,
Madness
yeah, then it's
gonna be
supposed to be
scary.
scary, dude. Like
No,
terrifying. Yeah.
I don't like scary
I don't like scary,
movies.
but I'm okay with a little scary flavor. Like, Doc Strange is the place for it
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? So,
I will say, who did? Oh God, I can't remember his name. His other big baddie that he fights in the first one.
huh?
The guy he fights at the time stone in the first. Oh no.
Yeah, I'm trying
Sure.
to trying to fix it. I've never seen
Okay.
I've
It's
never
okay. This is
seen that
mine in
before.
it's mine in Air 70 stream now. So Air 70. What was that guy from Doctor Strange? That Dormammu. There we go. Thank you, Air 70, and
Yeah.
not the chat. Okay, thanks,
Right.
chat. Yeah, that I felt was like hella weak. That shit was weak. And like he did not feel scary at all. So I am actually, even though I don't like scary movies, I am down to be scared.
Yeah.
Like I just don't like horror movies, but I definitely like horror elements in movies. And I think you're right, I do want to be scared
Yeah.
by Shibboleth. Like when he shows up on screen, I want to be like, ah!
You know what was a moment that like kind of what I was saying, like utilizing it like scary flavor, but not a scary movie. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings. Remember when Bilbo puts the fangs out and he goes crazy like Golem-esque?
Oh,
Dude, that shit scared me. That scared me. I was like, whoa. And I actually, like, for a long time, did not like watching that part of the movie.
yeah.
But it works in that part. And also, Gladriel, I believe, when she's tempted with the ring and she goes all crazy on him in the forest. That shit, dude, that shit was terrifying, too. I was like, this bitch, you don't want to fuck with this bitch. This is about to be a whole
No,
different mood.
I always
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Sorry.
always thought that they were going to do horror elements with with the Scarlet Witch because of what Joss Whedon set up for her, how he did those like horror elements. So I was always so excited for that, where I was like, oh, every time the Scarlet Witch uses her powers, it's gonna be like horror, like creepy, and then they just like abandoned it, made her Jean Grey, and
But her story is still kind of going to be told as well in Multiverse of Madness. So her and Scary, I'm down. I kind of said this too offhand, where I was like, dude, a evil variant of Wanda, that would be tough. Like that's kind of game over.
We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it in What If. I'm excited. It seems like it.
Scary. Yeah, you're right. That's scary. All right, let's get into the Q's and the A's, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go through all the.
Want her to.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to stop being Jean Grey and start being the Scarlet Goddamn Witch. You heard?
Amen. Amen. Guys, we're going to get into these Q&As. If you've got something you want to ask, drop it in. We'll go over every super chat within reason. So feel free to do all that. What the heck's going on with this?
Drop that Q, and I just might pick it up with an A.
There you go. Boom. Right. But I'm not sure what it means, but I'm into it. All right. Skylar Hillman says, $5 holla. The mother flipping jet ski scene. Oh, where is the mother flipping jet ski scene?
I know.
Good question. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've seen the last of Mobius, so that jet ski scene is still to come. Like, I think he's going. We're going to see a lot more of him.
I can't believe it
because he didn't even die.
No, he did not. No, and you've gotten more of him now. So you know what I mean? Like you've got I think it's a variant. So yeah, so cool. And what a cool way. Like the show shocked me in so many different ways, but it's also shocking
Mhm.
in the way that it's setting stuff up. I mean, Hiddleston's just rock. I thought maybe we'd have to hang with Sylvie next season. No, it's Hiddleston, like the full way. Probably another season with Owen Wilson. Like they probably got the band back together because they love doing it. In fact,
Yeah.
actually, while we're on that topic, I want to play. Maybe you can hear this, maybe you can't. I'm gonna play to you something that Tom Hiddleston recently said in a Q
Ooh.
and A.
Has asked, if
His
you were
Q&A is
asked to
gonna
play
disrupt
Loki for
our
the rest of
Q&A?
your life,
Yep.
would you? L, in Cleveland, Ohio.
So
Well, L, not so anonymous anymore.
I don't know if you can hear it or not. Can you?
But perhaps it's an alias. Very smart.
So the
Yeah.
person asked him
However, if I were asked
if
to
he
play
would
Loki
play
for the rest of my life, would
Loki
I?
forever.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
And he said yes,
I'm
absolutely.
so lucky that I've got to play Loki for this long.
he said yes,
And,
absolutely. Oh, for sure.
you know, I feel
Okay,
like
yeah. No,
he's
we're
such
gonna
an
see
interesting character
Mobius
who's been
Cs,
around.
and we're gonna see some Lokis, and yeah. So I think that jet ski scene is still to come. Like I think, honestly, we might see it in an even more fun way where they're like romping around and doing crazy shit, and they
Yeah.
might like hop on a jet ski instead of him like dying and having to do it in the in between. Like
Well, maybe
that a lot.
maybe that'll be the way that he like shows him that he's a variant. He's like, now, have you ever tried a jet ski? You know what I mean? And he like takes him out on it, and then that'd be kind of fun. You know what
Yeah.
else reminds me? Of, just totally random here. Have you ever seen Eastbound and Down?
No.
Oh
I've
my
only seen,
god,
like,
you must
of that.
like please go out. And
I
just,
was too poor to have HBO when it came out in 2009. Okay.
I watched that shit on DVDs. Yo, it's amazing. Danny McBride, so brilliant. Watch a little bit of it, and he also loves jet skis. It's really funny. Skylar Hillman follows up with Jonathan Majors rocked this role. Glad we didn't get bonered. I'm glad we didn't get bonered as well. Legitimately, been pretty much gloating all day, feeling real good about it. I didn't really make it too much of a thing like in the vids or whatever, but yeah, it feels good. Feels good.
I know I saw that you like referenced your like Beauty and the Beast prediction. I mean, I gotta say though, pretty spot on.
Dude, right?
Would
Like
you
I was like,
You
this
like
is
some
incredible.
props, Josh? Yes, I'll give you some.
I was
Here's a
like,
prop.
well,
Take it.
I thought that was so
Cheers.
weird to like right before the episode. I was basically like, I just want a Tarantino type dialogue scene with Jonathan Majors, and he's just there in the suit and shit. And like they did it. I was like, whoa, pretty cool.
So instead of getting bonered, did we bang
So I think the phrase was, and someone's gonna remind me in chat. They came up with a phrase. It was Kang Wang elation or something, or Kang Wang elation. Yeah, something like that. It's definitely not as. It's not. It doesn't roll off the tongue quite like the other thing. You know what I mean?
Kang-way-elation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kang-way-elation. I see it right now.
Yeah. There it is. Nick A says maybe Ravonna knows Kang but doesn't know it's him. That's kind of interesting and could be.
Yeah.
I need something there. You know what I mean? I need some kind of explanation. Who knows for sure? But I think she will meet up with Kang. It's obvious, right? She gets directions from Kang. She
Yeah.
leaves the timeline. She's outie. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems too weird that she's so into it when she knows like literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's gotta be, I don't know.
It's weird. It's got to mean something. It's like a zealot without even. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Alexa with a very generous $10 holla says, I think Loki is pruned to another TVA. The clue is we see Mobius saying there is no going back. That's our Mobius. Then you see the other Mobius that doesn't recognize Loki. I agree with that, actually. I need to go through it again, but I agree with that. That's another TVA. I agree. Darren, what do you think?
He got like in another dimension or another timeline?
Probably universe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. They're like if he doesn't recognize him and like with the different statues and stuff, like we're in Cuckoo Town now, guys.
Yeah, we've left the station. We're not in Kansas anymore. Nerdtacular says if Ravonna was like a prisoner of war that Kang we met was holding hostage or like a prize. Keep up the great work, guys. Love the streams. That's interesting. Do you think she was being held hostage? They have something on her, perhaps? Maybe that's what's going on?
That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where like I feel like she might be getting manipulated in some way. Like maybe she's not even fully aware of all the things that she's doing. Like she's also kind of a tool that they're utilizing in some kind of brainwashy Stockholm syndrome kind of way, or maybe she does know. I don't know. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. I like that idea though, that he's got something on her. It would obviously make her motivations make a lot more sense. So who knows? That could be fun. Appreciate the support. Chef Moriarty with a $5 house says, Darren, knight me with your boner. Don't get it in my eye. That's wait, what?
That's a boner.
There you go. Boop, right on you in the eye.
You're a nerd vendor now.
There you go. I'm sure the night has been made for you, Chef. Chef's kiss. Bitch call me Captain Morgan. Great name. Says, what do you think about the Deadpool being the new Stan Lee like cameo in the MCU? Did you see the Korg thing that he did?
Dude, what the fuck?
Right? Like, what? Yeah.
I watched it and it really tickled me. And you just watched Inside. So did you not get the total inside Bo Burnham feels when he's like, reacting to his reaction, and then it turns into like a react-inception. And I'm like, dude, they must have pulled inspo from that a little bit because and actually in his song, That Funny Feeling, Bo Burnham, he sings Deadpool self-awareness. That's like one of the lines in the song.
Ooh, dang.
So shit, Bo Burnham connections. But dude, I thought it was super fun. I thought it was very funny and very entertaining and a really good way to market things. Like it's such a fine line because I really love the Deadpool shit, and then sometimes it can be too much, and then sometimes like that, I'm like, I kind of just have to sit back and be like, respect. Like that was like marketing genius.
It was so smart, and he's so smart, dude. Like he's so good at that shit, and they're lucky to have him in the MCU. I really hope they figure it out and just have fun with it. And the variant thing, I think, makes it even all the more possible, and that's going to be really exciting. The Korg is one of my favorites. I wish I got a little more out of Korg. Like Korg was very, he had a couple funny lines, but like, dude, Korg's the man. Like he's legitimately so funny. But yeah, that was fun. And Marvel, like, bro, DC can't figure shit out. You know what I mean? And Marvel's just literally slaying so much right now. And that's like it's true. They literally can't figure shit out. And they're doing Deadpool Korg commercials for Free Guy. I mean, that's literally on a fucking, it's on the next level.
I was actually dying because like when I saw Black Widow in theaters, I saw the Free Guy trailer and I was like, what's this movie come out last year? And like literally it's like the first thing he says in like the Korg Deadpool review. And I was like, this is too funny. Like you're right. Like Ryan Reynolds honestly does have a talent for self-promotion and marketing. Just like I was watching one of your streams where you're talking about how like Jake Paul kind of has a talent for
getting people to engage. Yeah,
getting people to engage. I was like, Ryan Reynolds has a talent for self-promotion and advertising and getting people on his side. Like, and if they can, and they're and look at it, they're already doing great things with it. And I thought it was genius. Like, just raking that money already. Should we just throw it right in your face? Fine, here, take it.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it.
And you know what? Like, as odd as it sounds, I think it fucking worked for me. I think I'm gonna check out Free Guy now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, legitimately. Like, I knew of it, and I always thought the commercials were cool or whatever. But like, that shit is forever etched in my mind. Now when Free Guy, the next time like I have a like Free Guy pops up on my radar, that experience of watching that thing is going to influence how I make my decision. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that kind of crazy?
You're kind of blowing my mind right now because I just like did the, ran through it in my mind and I feel the exact same way. I was not going to watch it. And you're right. Now
wild,
I
right?
was not going to watch it. And if like, me and Dan didn't have anything to watch on a Saturday night and Free Guy came up,
You're
would
more
watch
likely to do it now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I am just a mouse in a cage.
There is no free will. Fucking Kang. Holy shit. Yep.
There's no free will. And we bring it back. Because we always bring it back.
Bring it on back. The Elite Review podcast says, what if James Franco shows up in No Way Home? I'd be down for it. I know people hate him or maybe he's in some controversy or something right now. I think there's more. I think there's more Me Too stuff coming up. I'm not 100%. I haven't looked into it enough to comment. I know that like Seth Rogen kind of threw him under the bus or some shit. And so I don't really think he's going to show up. Yeah. So probably not.
Yeah. Marvel's like, should we take the gamble on the guy that nobody likes? We're too busy doing things that everybody
Well,
likes.
you know what's
So
funny? On that note, Feige did in an interview recently talk about how he cast Liu, and he
Mhm.
literally said he looked at dude's social media. He was like, "That's what you do nowadays. Is you check this guy out." He said he looked at his social media. He said he loved how he engaged with his audience of Kim's Convenience. He thought he was a normal guy. He loved the Toronto Maple Leafs and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, bro, this shit is new. This is new because
that is
this
so
is,
wild.
yeah, this is like that post New Awakening cancel culture time period, right? And he's literally like, he's checking them out. He's checking them out to see how they conduct themselves. I think it's brilliant. It's, again, just something he's doing so much better than what they do over at Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Well, not to sound like a total boomer, but like my cousins are very Gen Z. They're like 19 and 20, and I guess they're 22 now, whatever. So I'm always very curious at how that age group uses social media. And I've literally like grilled them for like my own edification on it. And like how, because a lot of them have Finstas, right? Like their fake Insta accounts that they use where they're just like close group of friends. And then they have their like forward facing Instagram account that they follow everyone back. And it's just like that. And
It's
that's
just
what you
algo
present.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And the way that they explained how people in Gen Z think about the pictures and the content that they're putting out on their Instagrams is like kind of debilitating. Like it's insane because I'm like, you guys never post on your stories. I feel like I'm posting on my stories all the
Me
time.
too. Yeah. I
And
love
like you never
posting about my
post
dog.
pictures, like blah blah blah. And they're like, it's because every person is overthinking it to the point where it's not even fun anymore. And they're
Yeah.
just like running through it so much, editing it, like changing the caption to the point where it's like, oh, I don't know. And then they just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds exhausting. But they're like, but that's your social currency. Like when you meet people, that's the first thing you give people, and you know that that's how they're viewing you. And I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, as someone that kind of like does the YouTube thing is a
yeah,
different form of it. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a much healthier form in some ways. Like there's obviously more negative aspects of it as well with comments and whatnot. But yeah, it's weird and tricky, man. It's weird and tricky how that goes. But to think that like the greatest producer of all time is
that's
fucking,
exactly what
you know what I mean, checking out dude's Twitter account,
that
like it's kind of
they're
bananas.
kind of right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
insane kind of thinking is actually kind of correct based on how our world operates now
Yeah, it's a
is
social currency. It is a first impression of
totally
sorts. I mean, it's
valid.
literally what you do is check on people, which is why I'm so bullish on like NFTs and like crypto because I think the
Yeah,
future is going to be your public wallet and like
right.
aspects of your world are going to be accessible via like interface just in the
Mhm.
world, right? Like you'll be able to look at some in the same way they look at their Twitter profile, you check out their links, their hyperlinks, their whatever. You'll do that, but you'll check out someone's crypto wallet and all the NFTs or assets they
Wow.
have in it and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. It's just the same human elements just kind of evolving with the tech. It's pretty fascinating.
You guys want a great expose on how the internet is changing our society. Bo Burnham's eighth grade is amazing, and he also talks about it a lot. Bo Burnham fan for life. Anyways, go on. Next
Wait, he
question.
made Eighth Grade, the movie?
Yeah, he wrote and directed that.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. John White says, "Hey, fourth live of the day. Good to see Darren slanging the Kang Way elation, and
Thanks.
I've been high on all day with you, Josh. Or I've been riding high on all day with you, Josh. Let's go, Elation Nation, dude. John White, amen, brother. It's been a good day for nerds, and I'm pretty freaking happy, man. And I can't wait to do another
Yeah,
big video tomorrow too and sink in. But
yeah.
we're gonna stream all day tomorrow, man. Like it's lots of streaming and a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Did you see? And I don't want to sidetrack us, but I might do a whole thing on this. Did you see the Hot Toys spoiling the black and gold Peter Parker suit for the movie for Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yes.
Dude, it looks so crazy, and it looks
Yeah.
like that has Doctor Strange powers as well.
Mhm.
Like I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but I'm excited.
And still from the What If trailer, he's wearing his cape. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, he's Sorcerer Supreme Spidey in What If.
Like,
Like what the hell? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of crazy stuff on our way. I think it's a lot of nerd
it's
venting.
a great day to be a nerd.
It is.
I'm
Indeed.
I'm writing that Kang gangulation too. That's a mouthful.
Amen.
Pigwalation.
Kangwingulation.
Kangwingulation.
Kangwingulation. Pete says, do you think maybe Kang wanted to die to get released from the end of time because he wants to conquer once again? He seemed like he wanted to die. That's a great question. I'm not sure what to believe there. I don't even know how reliable of a narrator this guy is. I don't know if I can trust him. I kind of feel like he was playing them.
The real him.
Yeah.
It felt weird.
It was weird.
It felt like he was totally cool with being expendable and was like, first of all, other just like totally off topic note, that whole wristwatch technology that felt very like a Man of Steel tech, did it not?
Yeah. No, I would agree with that.
Like liquid metal-y kind of stuff.
Yes, definitely. Super highly advanced Kryptonian type. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe about that. That felt very sus. Like, I don't think that was either the real him or it was a version of him, and he was just like, fuck it, I don't care, and like totally, it seemed like he didn't even care about dying or wanted to die.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm not sure what to make of it. I think we'll get more of an explanation on that. I think the simplest way to kind of think of it is that he is a version of a Mortis that's just way older than he looks, and he's literally just gone mad or whatever. But the only thing that's making me think otherwise is the deal he tries to make to them before they enter further into the castle. He legitimately tries to offer them up a timeline where they'll be together, which means he has access to other timelines other than the sacred timeline, you know. But he was offering them up a timeline where he could beat Thanos, be the man, be that king shit, and have Sylvie. And that's not the same offer he makes them in the next room where he says, you can do my job or kill me. Your choice. Yeah. That's a totally different thing. So it just leads me to believe that at one point he was trying to get them to bail. When he couldn't do that, he had a backup plan, and that was sort of what it was.
Yeah. I'm kind of on that train too, where I think that he was kind of grasping it. And also just kind of pretty over it, and maybe, and if he knows everything, he probably knew that shit wasn't gonna work out anyway. So he's like, yeah, kill me, I don't care.
Yeah. Or like he sent Renslayer to go meet the younger version of him, and that'll be Iron Lad, and now like, you know, something crazy like that could be happening. So there's a lot of questions. Like, they told us a lot, but there's still a lot of questions. You know what I mean? So End says our Loki did not simp responsibly. What do you think of Wanda becoming the villain long term, and what about White Vision? These are two great questions, but yeah, let's address the simping not responsibly. I mean, she played him. She played him.
He did not sip responsibly. He just fell right into that trap.
No, she was ice cold. She was ice cold.
Have an internet account? You gotta learn, bro. Read the room.
Yeah,
that was sad. Actually, that was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like, I felt that was honestly just a really hard, sad scene to unfold. Where I was just like, damn, Sylvie, you really are like a child.
Cold-blooded. Yeah.
She's a child. She is like, you know, she's in Arrested Development, and it sucks. And then she just played him like a fiddle, and it was so sad because he was just like, simping with his heart on his sleeve. Poor dude. He should watch more Den of Nerds, honestly, because we have like the most responsible simps in the world.
This is true.
And learn how to simp responsibly.
Yeah, he should.
Long term. What do you feel about? How did you feel about their romance at the end? Because I know we kind of gone back and forth about it.
Yeah. I thought that in this episode it was probably the best that it had been, and that scene felt pretty genuine to me, and the kiss felt like everything felt good. And it's funny because it's not just that, their fight also was, I think, the best choreography in the whole show,
right?
Which is great. Which is great. I mean, that's what you should do. You should bring it in the finale. You know what I mean? Which is the opposite, I think, of what the other two shows did. So for me, it totally worked. But also, I really did not see her betraying him. And so, honestly, this is what I love about the show. And I think just maybe Michael's influence, maybe the whole team. You know, I'm sure everybody deserves credit. But it took me through all the phases. It took me through the loving phase, and yet also returned back to what my brain was like, yeah, this is what it should be with Loki's. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, if they really would have just fallen in love and went off into the sunset, there's going to be a part of your brain that's like, that's not what Loki's would do, you know? And it's like Michael gives you that feeling, that thing you want, and then puts it back where it should be, and your brain is like, shit, you know what I mean? And I feel like he did that with the Miss Minutes thing, with the He Who Remains thing, and then ultimately with Kang. It was like we got taken through all the different big fan theories out there, and that's like very meta, and it's like an emotional roller coaster. But then it ultimately lands on a place that, like, it is ultimately just Kang. But yeah, fascinating.
It was such a well choreographed scene, not just with the fight choreography, which was awesome, but like you're right, like hitting those emotional moments that are expected and leaning into them, but in a way that'll make the next part hurt more. Like honestly, in the way where he's like, "Stop, like Sylvie, stop, please, like please stop." I was like, I was totally bought in, where I was just like, okay, she's gonna like. Okay, like you feel the weight of that moment where he's like, "Look at me, like, come on." And then when she plays him, I was like, "Oh my God." And then you're right. And then you're like, "But it's a Loki." It was just like such a well, like directed, written, like like it was so good.
Yeah.
And I think it really ended that relationship perfectly.
Yeah.
Really.
But it
like
also
not ended
leaves
it,
him
but,
in a
like, just
spot,
more, yeah.
but it still leaves him in a spot too where you could see him just doing the same thing again and trying to, if like he'll be like moving along and then she'll show up at some point in season 2 and it'll throw everything off,
Yeah.
and then Mobius will be
Yeah.
like, ah, dang, here we go again. You know what I mean? So it seems fun.
Yeah.
The other part of his question was about Wanda being a villain long term. I think there's a lot of villainous stuff going on with Wanda. You know what I mean? And this whole Nexus event thing, and I think there's definitely more to it. And I don't know what to think about White Vision. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I really like, I don't know. You guys know that I love my villains, and I also love Wanda. And I think I'm just really excited because I feel like seeing a villainous Wanda will kind of be seeing a more truer representation of who she is in the comics,
Sure.
because she is a very complicated comic book character.
Yeah.
And like who we saw in the MCU was just like unrecognizable, honestly. And not that that was like necessarily a bad thing. Like I liked the Wanda in the MCU and I liked the Wanda in the comics, but
Sure.
I did not feel like they were the same person
Right.
whatsoever.
Mhm.
So I feel like if that kind of brings it back to like the Wanda that I know, I'm actually very, very into that.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited to see that, because I also think not utilizing her as a villain is a big mistake. Like, it's just, not using her complicated nature to propel the story in interesting ways is just, you're missing out on a lot.
Yeah.
And,
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
and I think the White Vision will be just like another weird element to add into that and make it weird and make it confusing and make it even harder, because like, God, you just feel for her, man. Like, it's just like so sad. Like all these things that Wanda goes through, it just like breaks my little goddamn heart. And it just like, oh my God, like them saying goodbye at the end. Like I just wanted to die. Like at the end of WandaVision, like when she's like saying goodbye again, I was like, what does Vision say that is like so profound?
It's like we'll see each other again or whatever.
No, he said, "What is grief but love enduring?" And I was like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And like I think that there's like a interesting part of White Vision where he is kind of like this detached analytical part of him, but then he's also free. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff they can do with it.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean,
excited.
The only thing I really want to say, I do definitely want Wanda to venture into being villainous, and I think that the whole Darkhold thing and prophecy and all that, there could be a really big play there, which would be very cool. Variant versions of her and perhaps the version in What If, very exciting. White Vision is cool. I am interested to see where they take that character and what they do. Like, I have no idea what they're gonna do with him. Half of me thinks he could pop up in Armor Wars and be like this weapon thing and be, working with these other people. Half of me thinks they will completely sideline him until some way in the future moment and randomly bring him back, which is also kind of an MCU thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in there. I think Wanda's a villain. I'm pretty set on, and at least villainous. Like maybe some of the things she's done have opened up more holes and caused more problems. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Matthew K says, where does Loki rank for you amongst all MCU movies and shows? It's definitely the top for me. Hanging with the homies. Yeah, what do you think? Where does it sort of fall for you as far as just in general MCU stuff?
When you bring the movies in, though, that makes it like that'll take me forever. I mean, as far as the shows, number one, I think it goes Loki, WandaVision, then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
for me, for the shows. With the movies involved, like, bro, that's a lot. I don't know. It's definitely near the top tier
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be like in my upper bracket, but it would be like, maybe it would be. I don't know how many brackets I'm splitting this into. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's high though. I
Yeah.
really, really, really enjoyed this show. But then if I have to sit there and like think about all the reasons why I loved all the Marvel movies, it might get lower and lower. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's tricky. I would say recency bias is a real thing, and right now I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's like real high. Like it's definitely top 10, I would say.
Yeah.
And it just has that vibe of like,
Yeah, I'll say
Guardians
top 10 too.
one.
That's a bracket.
yeah, it's in the upper half for sure, up to the 50th up percentile or whatever. Because it just it's so fresh, and I think that it really does have a vibe that's just so fun and different. It really reminds me of like Guardians 1 when that happened, where it's like, oh shit, the MCU can do this now, you know. And then it's just a fun vibe that the Rick and Morty of it all. It's great. So
Yeah.
I'd say top 10, maybe top 5. Gotta see how I feel about it. Give it some time.
Wow. Gotta do some like March Madness.
I know,
Style
right? Do a
with
little
your MCU.
bracket for it. Yeah. Nerdtacular says, I just want a scene with Loki holding up Mobius on a jet ski to the song I Don't Wanna Wait by Paula Cole. Put it in your brains. It's awesome. Okay, I will put that in my brain. I'm not familiar with that
That's the
song.
That's the one they dance to, Cap and Peggy, right?
Oh, is that what it is? Really?
I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But I think
Huh.
that's the song you're talking about. Very romantic.
Yeah.
Just slow as fuck.
Yeah,
on a
why
jet
not?
ski.
Let's do it. I'm into it. Why not? All right. Lawrence says Loki finale was fantastic. It's clearly great time to be out here screet vengeance in these nerds. Wait.
What?
Yeah, reverse that,
Excuse me?
brother. Reverse that. Ross says our finale is a victory for Den of Nerds. We are now officially in Phase 4, aka MCU or MCM multiverse. I've been away on vacay, but today is like a nerdy holiday. Kang Meng. It's good to see you, Ross. I hope your vacation was well and it was good. And yeah, man, it's a good day.
It's very wholesome. It is a good
Yeah.
day to be a nerd.
For sure, man. For sure. And
Presenting in these nerds.
And I love right. I love that it just feels like we can speculate again and not have the weirdness of boner and just like, oh, don't get your hopes up, because I mean they did the thing, dude. They went nuts. They went nuts, dude. It's not just
Yeah.
that it was Kang, it's that it was Kang controlling the whole fucking MCU in a singular show of a Disney Plus series. It's pretty wild, bro. Like it really does open things up in a lot of different ways. So I'm excited, brother. I'm excited.
Woo!
Woo! Krim says,
Had to give it a
finished Loki 10 minutes ago. I need a trauma blankie. Somebody make a note. We're making Nerd Vengers trauma blankies. That I didn't even know that was a thing, Krim.
Yeah.
You salty dog. But now we're selling a bunch of them. So
I think those are those foil blankets that you put over people after you like take them out of a fire and it gets them warm. So we just got to get a bunch of those. We'll bring them to the theaters whenever the Nerd Vengers go to see something really epic. We'll all bring our trauma
Yeah.
blankets and we'll just like
yeah.
just rock in the fetal position after just like too epic.
Dude, that sounds amazing. Actually, let's go. Colt says, what if when the timeline split in Loki is when Wanda heard her kids? I keep hearing this. I keep seeing this pop up. What do you make of such a theory?
When the timeline split, like
right when they all go past the red line, maybe that's when Wanda hears her kids from out in the multiverse scream out.
oh, when they split
In the
the multiverse
Mhm.
is when she hears that. Oh, 100%. I could totally see that
be
happening. I
fun.
love that idea.
yeah,
I
it'd be
think
super fun.
that's
A
real
lot of people
possibility.
are on that for whatever reason. You know what I mean? For sure.
Love it. Love
Let's
to
see
see
here.
it.
Cools says, I have a funny feeling that Tobey, Andrew, Hugh are going to be in Secret Wars. Secret Wars is definitely coming, and this is awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, we've been talking about that for like 2 years, dude. Like, because of the
Yeah.
whole Pandy and stuff, it was 2019, and before all this craziness was delayed, we were sort of talking about some of this stuff and being like, yeah, it looks like Secret Wars. It looks like that's what they're going to do. The Hugh thing seems like it would play into that. All the Tobey and Andrew stuff seems like it would play into that. And you just got to, like, the mind of Kevin Feige, it must just be like, how could we do it bigger and better? And he always talks about audience experiences. He wants to make some of the most iconic experiences for fans of all time. That's what he aims to do. It's not really movies. He's making experiences. So that would be one that would be all-time great. Like bringing in all these other variant versions, doing a version of Secret Wars that ties in all the Fox, Sony, everything from the past. Damn cool, man. It would be
What
damn
are you
cool.
going to do? Like, you already are jazzing and just riding this high of getting, the Kang elation. What are you gonna do when you're finally like justified in all your Spider-Man speculation and you see Tobey and Andrew on screen? Like, what will you do?
I mean, that'll be super sick. For me, that one's a little different because if you still deny the Toby stuff, I mean, literally, this dude.
No, but like when it's confirmed, like
When
when
it's
you see it
confirmed.
on screen.
Yeah, no, it'll feel good. I mean, for me as a Spider-Man fan, I've been telling people I truly think this could rival the hype of Endgame. And I know that seems bananas, but like, think about it. Endgame was what, 10 years of collective storytelling, but really, it was really in that last 5 years that shit like ramped up to the point that like we were like, whoa, this is crazy. What was the Spider-Man films? What was that? 6 or 7 years with Toby? And then what do we do? 3 to 4 years with Andrew, and we've just done 6 years with Tom. Guys, that's just a ton of that's a almost equivalent amount of time that fans have spent with these characters.
Yeah.
I ask you, good nerds out there, did you watch all the Toby films? Of course you did. Did you watch all the Andrew films? Of course you did. You have spent time with these characters. How are you missing the fact that when you see all of them together, you will automatically be at a place that you were at pre-Endgame? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that shit's going to be bananas. So I am so ready for that.
I just feel like you're going to say, I told you so loud that it's going to propel you into space and that you'll turn into a firework.
And then just yes. Well, you know what? I'll die happy then.
Yeah, you're gonna like ascend to the next level. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna like level up like a Pokemon.
Oh yeah, right? Bloop. This is my new form. Evolution. Now it's cocky Josh. Now look here, see? Yeah. Let's see here. Meister says, you were so excited about Kang that you forgot to gloat at the watch party. Then all the gloating came out on the evening stream earlier tonight. I know, it's true. It's true. It did. Yeah.
You still had to process all the gloating that you needed to do. You're like, it'll come.
I actually wrote in the script for the Loki video that I shot, the breakdown or whatever, it literally Kang gloating, and I circled it. But then when I sat down to record, I was so hyped to talk about all the other shit that I didn't even really want to gloat like that. Like, I wasn't really going to be like, fucking told you so. I did a little bit of it, of course, but...
15 seconds, gloat as hard as you can. Ready, set, go.
I fucking told y'all. You fucking doubt me. I do this for a living. Y'all do this shit part-time. You have no idea what you're talking about. I talk to people that work at Disney. I look at fucking documents that have their shit on it. I know shit I can't even tell the people that I'm closest with. Shut the fuck up and never doubt me again. You All right, can we... Oh, I'm sorry. What happened? I blacked out. Anyway, moving right along.
That's everything I wanted. That's everything I wanted and more.
Obi-Wan the homie says, just wanted to say that nerd vengeance in these streets ain't for the weak of heart. And the danger room is where we separate the real nerd vengers from the normies. Simp responsibly and Grinch smile. Amen, dude. Well said.
Always.
Well said.
Simp responsibly.
Gotta do it. I am Donovan says, what if Miss Minutes was being controlled by another Kang because the timeline had already started to branch? What if Miss Minutes was being controlled by another Kang? That's pretty interesting. There could be something there with Miss Minutes and an alternate Kang having some control of the situation. I think that is possible, not likely, but possible.
Yeah, I don't know. She definitely is in on it way more than anybody else, so she knows. She knows what's up.
True, double true. Terrence says, what if Miss... Oh, we already... Wait, did you say the same thing? Oh, never mind. Sorry, I read it wrong. RG2088 with a very generous $20 hello says, I figured like everyone, it would be Kang. But I also thought He Who Remains had to appear. But I thought it would be a Mobius variant. Not sure why I didn't think it would be Kang. Could it be that he was testing them? That's pretty interesting.
I liked the way they combined both.
Yeah,
though.
me too.
into King. I thought that was really interesting. And again, like you said, when it comes to like Michael Waldron kind of acknowledging fan theories and then like doing something cool with it within the writing itself, I think is great.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I really like the way that they did it. And yeah, it could be a test, man. I don't know. I feel like it was more like he's just trying to throw them off and trying to get out of Dodge, you know what I mean? But we'll see. It's yet to be determined. But yeah, the way they utilize He Who Remains, very cool. I thought Majors cut it up. So yeah, man, I'm glad that you're pumped. We're all pumped here. I Am Donovan said, what if because the timeline had already started to branch, Miss Minutes was being controlled by a variant Kang? Okay, so a lot of people actually had this idea. Yeah, that is very, it's possible. There's something about her. She's still sus for me. What's up? Yeah, no, no, it's like 3 different ones that are almost the same about it. So people seem to be really on that for sure.
Well, I feel like I'm in a branch timeline. I'm like, did I imagine this? Or
right?
did we just...
I know, right? Hey, it's been a long day of Nerdvention and reading super chats. Who knows, man? I could be. I'm fucking. I don't even know anymore. Brian Klein says only one can stop Kang. God Doom. Got my new badge. Nice, bro. Looking clean with that new badge, my friend. And yeah, God Doom. I can't wait. That is something I would really like to see. Normal Doom, though, first, let's let's not go crazy.
No, God Doom first.
Yeah, we can't do that. That would be.
And then kill him. Let's God Doom first, then you kill him, and then that's it. That's it.
That would be sick. I can't wait for Doom just to die. Mr. Anderson with the $20 says, with Loki arriving in Divergent Timeline at the end, is it safe to say that the rest of the stuff in the MCU will take place within a separate timeline from the one Loki ended up in? Or do the heroes fail every time? I think that's sort of the big question, but I would say that, well, this is what I think this is like the logic here. I think the best way to think of it is now moving forward, stuff like What If, Spider-Man, Doc Strange, and stuff that would have been well past, really it's just Shang-Chi and Eternals that were supposed to come out last year that are now out of time, weirdly. But everything else, I think is going to be open in the multiverse, and that it's now post Loki season 1. That's just what I think, because you're going to have Doctor Strange 2, and he's going to meet up there. We don't know for sure, Mr. Anderson. The Simper.
Oh, I get what that question means. Like, yes, my CPN here. Where the Marvel universe is primarily going to be playing in first. Yeah, I don't know. I do think a lot of it is going to take post Loki and different timelines, but I do think they will take a lot of time within the original timeline first before just like abandoning it.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, and there's still like principal stuff they have to kind of do with the characters or whatnot. But yeah. Krim says, beginning of episode 6 dropped my jaw and it kept doing it. I know, it was a wild ride. And you know what else? Everybody was complaining, 44 minutes, like before it started. Nobody's saying that shit now after they saw
like 44 minutes too long or too short?
Too short. They were like, too short. I can't believe it. The finale's not going to be good because it's only 44 minutes. Man,
I know. I mean, I'm just like a selfish, simple little girl, and I wish it was longer just because I want more. But it was great. It was perfect. Like, that show was so good. It was so good.
Indeed.
Like, guys.
Indeed.
Can we let's all take a moment of silence for after suffering for so long. Here we are.
So many boner rashes.
Here we are.
So much butt hurt.
So much butt hurt.
So much
boner rashes.
Wet fish slapping across my face.
Yeah. So many sores, welts,
Sores,
but
welts.
here we are.
Open source with bugs infested in. NPC MCU fan says Fox Quicksilver redemption. Hey, let's hope so, bro. I'm into that. Naaman says, did you see the head of the Living Tribunal in Loki? I did. I don't know what to make of it. Could just be a funny Easter egg. Could have super big significance. I don't know. Maybe a sign of the multiversal war. It can't be organic though, right? Because if it was organic, it would be gone. So it's a statue of the Living Tribunal. What does that mean? Who knows? Matthew K says,
I also feel like I saw some people being like, that was the train that Spider-Man 2 saw. I was like, there was a lot of Easter eggs in those parts.
Maybe. Shit, that'd be nuts. I've not seen anything conclusive on that. Matthew K says, insanely hyped for the Waldron Star Wars movie. Dude, right? Like, this dude's stock is just rising so high. And again, I find it so wild that it's Loki that did this. I really did not think that the show was going to be this consequential and crazy. But yeah, so fun. So fun.
It's going to be one hot tamale in Hollywood, that's for damn. I mean, but like we talk about this all the time, how like the Russo brothers literally went from like Community to Avengers.
Yep.
And look at them now.
True. True.
Stars.
It's 4 out of
Super
5
shocked.
avocados for me. Let's see here. Nerd Tackler says a proper Age of Ultron redo on the horizon. Well, I think you're gonna see Ultron with all the Infinity Stones and his Vision body in What If. I think that's one of the main things you're gonna see in What If.
A lot of Ultron in What If. I like a lot of the trailer scenes involve those Ultron buffs.
Yep.
There's gonna be a lot of Ultron in What If. So
I do
strap
think,
in.
yeah, I think he might well be obviously a variant Ultron, but like one that is threatening the multiverse in some way that they're gonna have to shut down. Which I love the idea of Guardians of the Multiverse. Like, oh man, I'm getting so excited for it. Jay Mills says, curious to know what files Miss Minutes actually gave Renslayer. Yeah, my gut is telling me it's on the other Kangs, perhaps on Iron Lad, and she went out to make sure that there would be a Kang that could try to stop the other Kangs or something to that regard. It's probably something to do with his resurrection, you know?
Yeah, she's being manipulated.
Yeah. Yeah, she's being manipulated. Or maybe it's the lottery numbers to some place or something. She's going to go win big.
And go cash in.
Cash in and cash out. John Parker, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. And ladies and gentlemen, any other questions, any other things you want to say about the episode, Miss Darren, before we get on out of here?
You know, I'm really, 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 I feel like we got into it. Just another props to how good the show looks. Like, I really feel like they didn't skimp at all in any of the budget. Like, even the Citadel, which is like a very ominous and sometimes almost plain backdrop.
Yeah.
Like the subtle details that they put into it, like that marbling of yellow veins. Like, I need that marble in my kitchen. Like, what is that? It's just the color palettes and the way, like, they even the amount of detail they would put with like light projection from these backdrops they created onto the actual people was just so insane. And it was just like such a pleasure to be a part of. And it's always it just makes me so happy whenever you get to be the recipient of like really, really good content, because we're so inundated with like average content that when you get really good content, I'm just so grateful and I'm so happy, and it was so good. I'm so excited to see what all these, and since they're all like coming back and this is just like the beginning, like I'm just so hyped. It's a hype day.
It's such a hype day. It's so fun. It's good to be pumped again. I got a lot of messages from people that were just generally happy that I was pumped about stuff, which was kind of fun. I was like, that's cool. So yeah, just a good ass day, and man, pumped about it. Plenty of stuff to be talking about. You're probably gonna be doing a stream with Lavis tomorrow. Y'all be cutting it up about all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah,
Got me in Labs tomorrow. If you guys want to just hear some more.
Yeah, come on by 7:30, and then there'll be After Dark at 9 as well. So packed day of streams again tomorrow. We're gonna get on out of her, Nerd Vengers. As we always say, I hope you're having an awesome
and nerdy day.
And we'll see you.
I'll see you
in the
next
video. Dude, we're so harmonized.
Yeah.